Welcome to the Street Dog Podcast, brought to you by the Street Dog Coalition. We are a national nonprofit providing free medical care and related services to pets of people experiencing or at risk of homelessness. I am your host, Daria Tavana, and I'm also the Director of Development at the Street Dog Coalition. Now, on this podcast, we explore the world of animal welfare through the eyes of experts, street dog vets and volunteers, and individuals like our guests today who have received services from the Street Dog Coalition. So we share inspiring stories, we provide updates on our advocacy work, and we give you a real inside look at the challenges and rewards of working to improve the lives of animals belonging to people experiencing or at risk of homelessness. So if you're tuning in live on Facebook, it is so great to have you here. I want you to go ahead, drop an emoji in the comments, say hi, let us know where you're tuning in from, let us know what the weather is like, whatever floats your boat. And I want to encourage you to not hesitate to ask a question if you feel inspired to at any time. I am here to answer your questions, as is our guest, who we'll get to in a moment. And of course, if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, please make sure that you're following us, the Street Dog Coalition, on Facebook, so you can tune in live every episode, and that will give us an opportunity to connect with one another in real time, which I love to do. It gives me a break from talking to my cats who are sick of hearing from me. So on today's episode, I want you to join us as we delve into the remarkable journey of Johnmark Guzman. He's an individual who has triumphed over not only homelessness, but I'm sure, as he'll get into, so many other battles in his life. So we are going to talk about Johnmark's inspiring story, and we're going to highlight his resilience and his unwavering spirit, which, if you are a member of our Street Dog Coalition Facebook community, I'm sure you've seen his name popping up a lot, because he is our biggest cheerleader online and in real life as well. So from navigating the challenges of homelessness to finding his voice as an advocate, Johnmark's personal journey will absolutely captivate you, just like it's captivated me. And I'm excited to be inspired together. So we're also going to shed a bit of a light on the vital role that organizations like the Street Dog Coalition, and I'm sure other organizations, have had on Johnmark. The Street Dog Coalition in particular provided essential services for Johnmark's cherished pet during difficult times. So I want to welcome you to the podcast, Johnmark.
Thank you, Daria, very much.
The crowd goes wild for Johnmark. We love him.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's so great to have you here, Johnmark. I know, I feel like I know you, even though I'll probably get to know you even more throughout this episode, but you are
Good.
you just clearly have so much love to give, not only your pets, but to the individuals that you support through their experience of homelessness, through the Street Dog Coalition. So it is an honor to be able to share your journey with others in this way.
I appreciate this word.
Yeah. Okay, Johnmark.
Daria, if you look at the word love, you look at the vowel O, and you can replace it with the vowel I, and you look at the consonant V, and you can replace that with the letter F. When you have love, you have life.
I
And
love that.
that's
Oh,
what we
that's
need to
beautiful.
share.
That's beautiful. Yeah, those two words are more alike than they are different. I really love that. I really like that. So thank you. Thank you, Johnmark.
Okay.
And maybe, and I know a lot of people listening to this episode, we have a lot of volunteers listening to this episode. We have individuals who have received services from us listening to this episode. So I just know that your story is going to it's just going to really resonate with people, and I'm excited to hear it. And yeah, Johnmark, why don't you tell us a little bit about before I ask you questions about you, can you tell us who is next to you? I know your hand is petting an animal. Is that right?
It's Cowboy.
Cowboy.
He's Cowboy. He's totally laid on the side. He's listening to you, and he's relaxed. And I'm actually touching him to relax also, to just
Oh,
breathe, to breathe deep and take my time and just be natural with him, like we're just together talking with a friend in our own living room.
I love that. I love that. That co-regulation is beautiful.
It is. Yeah, it
Oh,
is going on.
so we got the human animal bond live in action, which is
Absolutely.
funny because my cat is across the room just giving me a dirty look, which I guess is the
Yeah,
difference between cats and dogs. But I know she loves me underneath that stank face that she has right now.
absolutely. Absolutely. If I brought
So,
a cat, if I brought a cat home, Cowboy would kick me out.
oh yeah, the cowboy said, no, no, sir. There
Um,
can only be me.
uh,
I love that. So, John Mark, why don't you take a moment to share with us as much as you're, I know you're a very open person, but if you could kind of share with us maybe the details of your personal journey and how you navigated the challenges of homelessness, that would be great. Maybe you can kind of
okay.
start from the beginning and tell us how you ultimately overcame
Sure
those
thing.
obstacles.
But recently had a small quip conversation, and I shared with you about individuality and how homeless individuals do have their own individual blueprint of why they are in a situation and why they are homeless. And that needs to be considered very, very highly because it's a good way of understanding them individually and how you can assist them in navigating their lives uh, by by knowing their individual blueprint. And a lot of people would like to think that when they see some homeless individual on the curb waving his hand and screaming that all homeless people are like that. No, no, not at all. So that is really essential to understand that every homeless person has their own individual blueprint of why they're homeless. For me, my blueprint was just airing out my life. I'm a suicide survivor, and that's what I've had to do is go air out my life. And I guess airing out my life was just leaving everything behind. My furniture, I gave my pet away to a good friend, um, belongings, my family, leaving everything behind so I can air it out. And I've always cherished the word anew, and that's what revolutionized a new beginning for me. Was this is new to me, and I did some extensive traveling, and with a dog named Max, and when it was at that moment when I became homeless, I wasn't going to be homeless alone because I knew that population existed and they're going to be around and out there. Um, right away, another spark happened, and that was I'm not going to be homeless alone, and I'm going to be a part of this population, and we are going to feel like we are still part of the community. So the homeless advocacy came in place also at the same time of being homeless and understanding that I am homeless. I don't have a key to any door. I don't have permission to sleep anywhere. I'm going to be on the street like everyone else. But when you're on the street, you become a feeler. And by that, I mean, you'll ask somebody, hey, do you know where I can take a shower? Do you know where they're giving any meals out? Or is there a clothing bank nearby? Those type of questions. And sure enough, when you're sitting on the bench with someone or so forth, you find out the information and you migrate there. And before one thing leads to another, and you know what's happening 7 days a week. Either there's a meal served or there isn't a meal served. So you have to pretty much start preparing for those days when meals are not served. So I that's what I, I started to learn, and not only that, I witnessed an individual who was in a crosswalk, who had the right of way, who was beyond halfway in the crosswalk when a big old SUV came right in front of him and almost hit him because he wanted to get to a parking spot. And I flipped that individual off, and that was that. Okay. Well, before you know it, two policemen came up on me and ticketed me for disorderly conduct. I'm like, what? You're pedestrian? That's the law. Go after her. No, they went after me. That's what really sparked my advocacy. And through that moment, I was very concerned about pedestrian safety. That led me to a really neat program called Complete Streets Policy, which was born out of AARP. Believe it or not, they compiled this program, and they said, here, United States Department of Transportation, you can have this. Our government embraced this, and now the United States Department of Transportation inherited this program called Complete Street Policy. It's all geared towards pedestrian and bicycle safety. That became my backbone of my advocacy work, because why? Who's not on the streets all the time, 24/7?
Yeah.
Who's not crossing streets and going into crosswalks and almost getting hit or getting near hit, so forth? Homeless. So that really disciplined me on the rights of being homeless, of the right of way, yield to pedestrians, it's the law, and what is actual public property.
Yeah.
Understanding all that logistics within your own community is part of a homeless life. You're on the street 24/7. There are people who get up to go to work, to go plow highways. Well, homeless are on those streets when it's been snowing. See what I mean?
Yeah.
We know how the street functions. We know how municipality streets function. Now it's the safety that is the most concerning aspect. The safety by cars and vehicles. Not only that, but safety by being threatened by the public.
Yeah.
Being called just social slurs for being homeless. And if you don't move from here, I'll kick your, or I'll come back with the gun, or that's reality.
Yeah.
So again, that's part of the network of being and existing on the streets. So I was homeless for starting at 2012. At 2015, I migrated back to my hometown, Fort Collins, Colorado. And I was in Fort Collins, Colorado, yet taking a bus called Boulder Express to Boulder, Colorado to sleep. And why? Because Boulder had a great program called BOHO, Boulder Outreach Homeless Overflow. 5 churches created a relationship, and those 5 churches opened up their doors 7 days a night, or 7 nights a week. And so I would migrate just for that, because it wasn't your typical shelter scene environment. No, these were people who were who understood the Romans 12:13. I'm gonna say they understood what Romans 12:13 is, which is share with God's children who are in need and be prepared. And they were, and they did. So I would migrate to Boulder just to sleep overnight, and then get up 6:30 in the morning, like everyone else, get pushed out of the church, and I would go back to Fort Collins and check mail, laundry, lottery for laundry, and lottery for showers, and be among other homeless in an area, a building called Murphy Center. And it is a resource center for homeless in Fort Collins. And at that time, I was volunteering to do the watering for the garden at community garden at Murphy Center, when I saw this man come to the premises, and he had a medical garb shirt on. I recognized that right away, and he was presenting himself as Street Dog Coalition. It was Dr. Geller. And I, of course, was just attracted to him, and him attracted me, because we both just went to each other. And the relationship, Daria, was instant. The way every one of you out there who's ever had opportunity to engage with Dr. Geller one-on-one, he is the same with every single individual.
It's true,
He has the most compassionate, empathetic eyes that just, his energy introduces him before he opens up his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's like that with everyone that he's engaged with, including myself. And I still remember that moment. and he's still the same. He is just the most welcoming uh, aura around him that just makes him who he is today. And so I he met Max. Max is so exceptional, just so exceptional. Dr. Geller can testimony on that. And
And Max was your dog at the time, right? Is that right?
right,
Right.
correct. And within 3.5, 4 months, I got housed. So, but I'm on that term fringe still. Okay, I'm on that fringe. Yes, I have keys now. I have a microwave. I have a toilet. I have a shower. Yes, uh, but you're on that fringe still, and you know that you are too. You know you're too. What's so ironic, Dari, is that I've spoken with homeless individuals who are afraid of succeeding, re-entering into a sheltered home life.
Yeah.
They're afraid that maybe I don't think I can do it, and that really frightened me because you should not be afraid of your home. That is the ultimate security. We all know that. Even with natural catastrophes going around the world, we know uh, the dynamics of and the fear of homelessness. And so, but I got housed and living on that fringe still, trying to put my resources together to see the longevity of what it's going to cost to enter this secured home housing life. Excuse me. And then I saw Max having a difficult time urinating, and I kept my eye on it, and then I made contact with Dr. Geller. And one thing led to another, and Dora, they found that his bladder had detached itself from the abdomen, the wall of his body,
Oh
and
no.
flipped over. Yes, it had flipped over. Well, fast forward within hours, Dr. Geller and a person that I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. They're doing emergency surgery on Max with a Zoom-like satellite with other vets helping assist this surgery.
Wow.
And yeah, and I am home praying nonstop and crying nonstop because Max is the one that got me through the homelessness. He's the strength, he was the security, he was the love, he was the everything that kept me alive being homeless. Everything. And now it's gonna be gone. And it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night when the lead surgeon called me and said, "We're out of surgery." It was rough. It was emotional, Johnmark, and he's pulling through. So it was such a relief, such a relief. Dr. Geller can share with you also the intensity of that operation, but he pulled through, and a lot changed about Max that I have had to learn. His eating habits, his so forth habits, his waste, his his urinating habits, everything, the walking distance, everything changed, which is okay with me because I had the time and I had the love for that change. And finally, Max just kind of oh, I guess it was another exam. Uh, I'm sorry. Prior to that, Dr. Geller had detected a heart murmur.
Oh.
So going into before this surgery, I had to agree and sign papers that, you know, if he was going to cardiac arrest, this is going to happen. So we went all the way through it anyway. And so he succeeded that surgery through even having a heart murmur knocking on his door of life. So as post-surgery, still had to live with that heart murmur condition. That was the change I'm talking about. And eventually it just, like Dr. Geller says, you lose interest in everything. The animal loses interest in everything. That heart murmur just keeps declining any type of will or motivation or instinctual happenings, with the pet. It just and Max got to that point, and I knew it kept happening. So ironic was a week before Max actually passed away. We had come back from a nice walk, fed him, and I was ready to put NPR on and just kick back. And I saw him looking at me, staring at me, and hello, Max, what's up? And he's staring at me, and I invited him over to me, and that was going to be our last talk. That was our last conversation we were going to have, and we did have a conversation. And I said, Max, I understand all this. I understand loss, but you've got to send a dog my way. You've got to do it. I know you can't. You've got to send a dog my way that's going to do everything that you did and more. Please, you've got to do it, Max. Please. And Max passed away on a Thursday afternoon, and by Monday morning, I had Cowboy in my life, and
Wow.
I had to even make a phone call to Dr. Geller and report to him about how I was criticized for not freaking out and going through extensive mourning and blah 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 blah, and I was criticized for obtaining a dog right away and not taking time to grieve for Max. And Max was grand, though. I believe his dog was just. But I do have permission from Max to tell everyone that Cowboy is beyond Max.
Yeah.
That's what he sent to me. Uh, this awesome creature that is even beyond Max. And I wish I was outside so I could show all of you that with the most gentlest command, Cowboy knows how to hug. He'll stand up and put his front legs around your waist and hug you. Dr. Geller knows that. He's seen it. He's witnessed it. That's who Cowboy is. I know. So Cowboy, that's his name, but his official name is Cowboy Johnmark Guzman.
Oh,
His television name is Cowboy Montoya Rodriguez de Soto de Gallo Dominguez.
I love it.
So,
Oh my gosh, Johnmark, I want to say there's so many beautiful things. I mean, first and foremost, of course, thank you for sharing your story with us. You can't see it, but there are tears in my eyes. And I want to just highlight a couple of things. To me, what's so interesting is that I think a lot of people don't understand that there are individuals who are experiencing homelessness, who are unhoused. And oftentimes we assume these individuals don't care about their health or don't care about their safety. So I really appreciated in the beginning of our conversation how you were talking about how not only do you care about your safety, but you care about the safety of other individuals living on the street. And you feel as if you're, you felt called to shine a light on these issues, to be an advocate for individuals living on the street, and to kind of stick up for yourself and those people by advocating for pedestrian rights. And I think that first and foremost is amazing. Even when you were, admittedly at a point in your life where you may probably, I assume, felt under resourced, you didn't hesitate to defend yourself, to defend individuals who had similar experiences. And I just love that. I think that's inspiring. I think that's beautiful. And I also find, the connection that you clearly had with Max is one that I think transcends all different financial classes, right? There are individuals who have a home, who feel that deep connection with their animal at home. There are individuals who are unhoused, who have the exact same kind of connection, if not stronger, right, with their companion animals. So I really appreciate this universal love that comes with having a pet like that in your life and having that pet be your reason for living. I mean, my pet is the reason why I'm here having this conversation with you, right? Because I love my pet. I really want to make sure that everyone has the ability to remain with their pet. So I really appreciate all of the dignity that you exhibited at that time, regardless of your financial status. And I'm curious, maybe you can share with us a little bit Maybe you can talk for the next 5 or 10 minutes about your advocacy work, because it sounded like that was the seed that then sprung into you being an advocate for individuals who are unhoused.
Thank you. Well, it's very basic to understand that the homeless voice is tired, it's weak, it's lonely, and it's unheard of. So I don't have any issue at all being that voice for the homeless, because it's a weak voice, and no one is listening to them, or no one is even hearing them exist. So that's really the purpose of that. Also, is that I will do it. I do it. It's a duty. Just like what Romans 12:13 is the duty of the church. And that is a church's duty to fulfill that. So my advocacy work is a one-man show. It's me and Cowboy. It was me and Max, and now it's me and Cowboy. I don't represent any organization, any agency. It's just me. When you talked about just minutes ago about defending one another, either each other on the street, I live right across the street from a small park. Dr. Geller has seen my house, because this park, Meeker Museum Park, is where they had a Street Dog Coalition clinic. Okay, it's just very quaint. It's beautiful with trees and shade, and I've implemented 4 unspoken rules there. Okay, and they come from me, and there are no signs or rules around that area at all. Okay, not even no trespassing from the museum historical people. But I have 4 unspoken rules at that park, and they are no yelling, no screaming, no laughing, no smiling. This is a good place for you to do some serious reflection and then listen to me, Daria. So when you talked about defending each other,
I just broke all of your rules. I'm sorry.
Uh, just yesterday, a group was sitting there at the bench and with their bikes and so forth, and I said to them, "No one is coming here to save you. You need to get up and be your own hero. Be a hero as taking care of as much as you can to the person next to you, sharing with the person next to you anything that you may share to eat. Be the best hero you can for everyone else here on the street, that you all get along and you're all safe with each other." All right. So that is part of that self-building, letting them know that yes, we are. No one's coming to save you at all. You need to step up, be your own hero. But back to my advocacy work and who I represent, which is myself and Cowboy. I provide clothes, I provide food, I provide blankets, I provide bike tubes and mechanics for anyone's bikes. I provide haircuts, I provide showers, I provide clean clothes.
Wow.
I will wash their dirty clothes. I have a program called Get a Job, Get a Bike. You get a job and I will buy you a bike. And
Wow.
so on the side of my porch are some bike remnants. So if we need to put something together in that sense of getting a bike for someone, and I have tubes and a pump, you're on your way to your job. Other than that, I will buy a full bike that's ready to go, and that's that. So that's what I provide, just with myself. And I am my own neighborhood watch program. When the police see me, they hyperventilate. They know what I'm all about, and they know that I'm serious. So,
A force to be reckoned with.
well, when I
But
walk
also a
out,
very nurturing force, obviously.
when I walk out my front door, my work starts immediately.
Yeah.
That street in front of me, that used to be one of my main arterials going into downtown Park when I was homeless. So I was on that street every morning, and now I live there on that street,
Wow.
in a house, in an apartment. And so when I walk out my front door, there's somebody walking by who will say hi, or hey, someone, hey, or I will make contact with them and say, "Are you okay?"
Mm.
Daria, there are two sets of words that really, really hurt our society. The first set of words are, I can't. There are people who have 2 legs and 1 arm and who have done so much more physical feats than I have ever done that it's just incredible. So we know you can. The second set of words are, what's wrong?
Yeah.
We have stopped asking each other, our loved ones, or anyone, what's wrong? And when we stop asking what's wrong, then it becomes too late, and then we'll ask what happened. So I'm not afraid to ask that question to any homeless individual as part of my job. What is wrong? That is so integral to my outreach. What is wrong? Or where did you sleep last night? Those are the 2 most integral questions I ask daily. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's beautiful. And it sounds to me like and even asking people what happened really gives them this opportunity to describe for themselves in their own words what their experience has been. So I think even phrasing it that way, what happened is, is empowering, right? You're not making any assumptions. You're not stating that, the way in which they're living, like there's a problem with the way in which they're living. It's just this, I think this openness and curiosity that you employ, you yourself, based on your own lived experience when you're reaching out to individuals, that surely makes them kind of trust you maybe a bit faster than they trust other people, which I think is beautiful. I love
you know,
that.
there is a statistic to everything in life. And of course, there is that statistic of the mental health challenge in the homelessness world. And I've been targeting that. And I don't ask that question, what happened to those individuals?
Mm,
I don't ask that question at all
I
because
see.
they don't quite understand what happened. But I can tell
Ah,
you, I can
okay.
tell you, Dolly, and other listeners, and you'll understand this right away, that
Yeah.
mental health is a genetic inheritance.
Mm,
And individuals don't know that once they were at conception, that little black dot existed. And as you developed, that little black dot, it found its way and it navigated its way and it went far away to the brain of that embryo. So when you're maybe 2 years old, that black dot, it comes to the forefront, and you're going to have difficulties in that time period of your life. That black dot can come forward when you're 13 years old, and your teenage years are going to be difficult. And you come to the forefront when you're 24 years old, and you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
It is always there in them. So I don't get mad or frustrated with those mentally challenged homeless individuals at all because it's not their fault.
That makes sense.
They,
Yeah.
they inherited a mental health uh, genetic gene that it makes them unable to understand, to conceptualize, or to navigate their own lives.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me. And really what I'm kind of um I feel like, just to kind of wrap up this conversation, to me, what I'm leaving with here is this feeling of community and of support that doesn't necessarily require an individual who is at the helm of providing this support to be housed. Like, I'm very much inspired, and I'm sure our listeners are, at how from the moment you were unhoused and recognized and identified an injustice, and recognized and identified an opportunity where you, despite your housing situation, could be of service to others, you really leaned into that, and you fully understood that not only would you be helping these individuals, but I got to imagine that you also understood that the entirety of your community would be elevated through your services and through the services that surely you inspired others to perform as well. And I think that's beautiful. And I don't think there's enough of that in this world. And I really,
Daria,
yeah,
you had hit the golden word, and that is the word justice.
yeah,
I mean, that word, when you said it, just came out and blew up the screen on me. Because what? That's exactly the definition of who I am.
yeah,
When I give presentations and so forth, and people ask me, well, what is an advocate? Great question. Um, the definition of me being a homeless advocate, I did not read this anywhere. No one taught me this definition or shared it. This just came through the middle of the night after I became rehoused. Okay, back entered into a rehousing life. This definition came through me in the middle of the night, and that is, I'm a homeless advocate because an advocate promotes justice.
yeah.
An advocate puts definition to justice, and an advocate implements justice. And that's how I function every day throughout the day.
That's beautiful, Johnmark. Wow, what a note to end on. I can't thank you enough, and I'm going to continue to thank you. I will try to thank you enough for shining a light on your journey, on your relationship with Max, on your relationship with Cowboy, on the impact that you've had on the community, and on this intuitive pull that you feel to advocate for justice, which is, something that I feel very passionate about as well. And I think that your resilience is just inspiring to me. And I am so excited to just see where your advocacy work goes, and to really watch you continue to surprise yourself and surprise the people around you with your advocacy
Absolutely.
efforts, and also continue, to just enrich the lives of everyone around you. And I want to thank you so much, Johnmark,
Thank
for
you
taking
for
the time
supporting
to
me.
chat with me. Absolutely. Yeah, this was a fabulous, fabulous conversation. And for individuals who are listening, who want to learn more about the Street Dog Coalition, please go ahead and click the links in the show notes. We've got plenty of links that allow you to learn a bit more about the work that we do at the Street Dog Coalition. And if you are on Facebook and you see Johnmark commenting on our Facebook posts, as he does, by all means, like his comments, reply to his comments, tell him how amazing he is, show him some love, because clearly, Johnmark, you are showing us so much love. You are showing the animals in your life so much love, and your community members so much love. And I want you to know, as I'm sure you already do, that the world is a much better place with you in it. So thank you for
Thank
taking
you
the
very
time
much.
to chat today. Thank you, Johnmark.
Yeah,
And something tells me we'll be in touch again very soon.
absolutely. Thank you, Daria.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Dr.
so
Della.
much. Thank you. Take care, Johnmark.
Bye.